One of the questions that's worth talking about, because I've never made up my mind about this, is the psychedelics are always cast as an option in the spiritual quest. You can study yoga or meditation, or you can take drugs, or you can do good works like Mother Teresa or something like that. I've never been absolutely certain that psychedelics have anything whatsoever to do with the spiritual quest. If we define the spiritual quest as that which impels you to the moral life, then I don't really see, I don't understand. I certainly have taken a lot of psychedelics. I certainly am no moral exemplar, nor have I ever felt pressure to be one while on a psychedelic trip. The mushroom has never said to me, as a leader of the people, you should be a better person. Inevitably, these spiritual hierophanies tend toward a vocabulary of unity and light and completion. And that's not the vocabulary that I would apply to the psychedelic experience. The psychedelic experience is weirder than that. It's about self-transforming elf machines from hyperspace kicking down your front door and rotating all 4 tires on your after-death vehicle and also checking the radiator. Is that a spiritual experience? Hell, who knows what kind of an experience it is.
You use psychedelic in a very limited sense to refer to the tryptamine psychedelics. There are, of course, many psychedelics where you don't have elements running around.
Well, I call those things psychoactive, but you're right. They're psychoactive. See, here's the thing. I mean, there's a series of declensions here. There's psychedelic, there's psychoactive, and there's altered states. There are hundreds and hundreds of altered states, most non-drug. And then there are altered states of consciousness which are drug-induced. I can feel an aspirin hit. I mean, I actually can feel the shift in my reality from 2 buffered aspirin. And then, of course, there's caffeine stimulation and downers and all of these things. None of this is psychedelic in the ordinary sense. And the psychedelic experience for me is this very narrowly defined thing where you see visions. Hallucinations aren't even sufficient, because there are all kinds of hallucinations, moving grids of color and little swimming things, and then you get the mice dancing in rows and the little candies floating by, and this, you can't build a pyramid out of that kind of stuff. But the real vision is a very mysterious thing, impossible by rationalist standards, and we all are rationalist enough that even in confrontation with it, we know that it's miraculous. So a thing worth thinking about and worth talking about this weekend is whether or not the psychedelics are in fact part of what is ordinarily thought of as the spiritual quest or the quest for religious understanding. There are people who take psychedelics who don't have an iota of spirituality in them. If you're interested, there's a very interesting book called Shamanism, Colonialism, and the Wild Man by Michael Taussig. Michael Taussig, I dare say, would be very uncomfortable in this room. He would dismiss us all as fruits and flakes because he's a Marxist labor organizer. There is no vertical gain in this guy's worldview. And yet, he's taken more ayahuasca probably than anybody in this room and been loaded, thoroughly loaded. So it's very interesting to read his book and garner his conclusions. He sees it in an entirely different way. I think it is a way to access insight, but it doesn't seem to support the Neoplatonic hierarchy of ascending light and space that is the assumption of Western religion. There's no white light at the end of the tunnel in psilocybin. Instead, there's the alien edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Maybe that's a spiritually enlightening thing to encounter, or maybe not.
There is LSD.
Yeah. LSD fits. LSD is more classically psychoanalytic, number one, and number two, supportive of the metaphors of Western religiosity. It does move you toward the dissolving whiteness, the oneness with the unspeakable of Meister Eckhart and that crowd.
Except in the Harvard experiments, originally with Leary and Alport, they used psilocybin with these.
Well, but they put them in a chapel on Good Friday.
But that's set and setting.
Well, so the set and setting then highly determined the trip.